Previously on.
So yeah, y'all send good vibes. It's not a great time. Hopefully next time I'll show up. I'll be in a really good mood and I'll have really good news. But today is not the day.
So, to cut to the chase, I don't have good news. But I am in a much better mood. So, there's that. Hi, it's me, Mike, the guy who writes all these stories. And I wanted to pop in to give an update video. And two things right off the top. First of all, I feel like this video is going to get a bit rambly because it was a very long day that I spent at the hospital. And I just kind of want to tell you the story of it. Partially so I have something to look back at a couple of years down the line. But also, I just like telling stories. With that said, if you just want like a super quick update, or your friends and family, which apparently a lot of y'all do watch the channel, which I found out under better circumstances. But yeah, if you just want a very, very quick update video, just a skinny on what is happening with my health, here is a timestamp. So that's thing number one that I want to get out of the way. And thing number two, viewer discretion advised, I will be talking about my balls. So yeah, if you don't want to hear about my testicles, I'm not gonna go into any gory details or anything like that, but can't really tell this story without talking about my balls. With that said, before I get to the day at the hospital, if I can kind of set the scene and kind of, tell you guys what I've been up to over those 2 really long weeks that led up to the hospital visit. I Chekhov gunned myself. Sometimes if I have a bad tour or there's something that I'm stressed about, I end up journaling because, it's good to get your thoughts out there, but also I find that putting down what is worrying you or like what you're going through in a given moment, knowing that you're going to come back to these journals in decades, makes it easier to kind of center yourself and like, oh, this is just something that is happening right now. This will not be relevant in, X amount of years. So on August 24th, I was writing a journal entry about a particularly bad tour that I had. Doesn't happen that often. I was just feeling kind of low, and I was like, all right, let's just get this out of my system. And I wrote a journal entry, and I felt better after it. And then at the end of that journal entry, there is a little note. It literally says something like,
Hey, by the way, just writing this down for posterity's sake, but my right ball seems a bit swollen. Hopefully this doesn't become a thing.
It became a thing. So August 25th was like my last good day before these issues became unavoidable and ate up like all of my time and all of my mental energy. I had a really nice day. So I had a double tour. I did the Old Town tour in the morning, lovely folks. Then I had the castle tour in the afternoon. Most of the folks from the morning joined me for the afternoon. And after the tour, I was like, hey, guys, let's go grab a beer. And we ended up going to this really delightful pub called Restaurace Kuchyň, right next to the Prague Castle. And I had a friend who's been out of town for, I think, most of the summer. And she was back. And I was like, hey, come and join us for a beer. So she did. We had a beer there. We ended up going out for dinner. And then we went to the place that I go to every single Sunday, Žižka Šiška, which is a art gallery, bar, jazz, fusion music sort of place. And I had just like the nicest night where I wasn't thinking about my testicle at all. I got to see so much really cool live music. I got to see one of my old coworkers. He just gets up on stage and starts playing the guitar, and I was like, holy fuck, he's really good on the guitar. And I've known this man for 8 years. And never knew he plays guitar that great. So Izzard, fucking great guitar playing. And yeah, drank, smoked, had some great conversations, and in my Uber back home, I was like, ah, shit, there's that thing that I must consider. I wake up Monday morning, and I don't work Mondays, because I like to go out to Fischko on a Sunday. But it was already too late for me to go see my GP. There still was a part of me that was hoping, like, maybe the swelling will go away on its own. Maybe I banged up my ball on something. But then Tuesday, I go to the doctor. It opens up at like 2 p.m., so I show up there early. I think I was like the second or third in line. And on my way to the doctor's place, I was like, he's gonna touch my balls. And that's not something that I want in my day. People that I'm not sleeping with touching my testicles just seemed like, just something that didn't want to happen. Needless to say, after this one point of discomfort, for the rest of my medical journey, whatever room I entered into, I was like, who do I show my balls to? Like, how do I get this problem fixed? But he's like, this is not good. I am going to send you to a urologist. You can choose, there's these two hospitals. And if you're lucky, you can still get to the urologist today. So I go out. I was very lucky, specifically in the bus that I caught. And when I got there, I catch the very specific bus that will get me there just in time before the place closes down. I show up literally 15 minutes before they're closing down the department, and I would have gotten treatment anyway, but I would have had to go to basically the emergency room or some sort of a different sort of intake, and the doctor said yeah, that might take 5 hours, so try to be there on time. And I get there, they do a sonogram of my testicles, and the guy's like,
yeah, not great.
And he says it's most likely a bacterial infection. So I'm going to prescribe some antibiotics, come back. I think it was, come back next Tuesday, come back in a week. So I come back from the doctors after they tell me it's a bacterial infection. I celebrate. And in fact, I still had enough time to go back to my GP. And my GP was like, whoa, what are you doing back here? And I'm like, hey, caught the right bus, got there on time, was super quick. They prescribed me these antibiotics. And he's like, okay, cool. It's an infection. You're really lucky, because it could have been something else. Really lucky. And I was kind of stressed out about the potential for ball cancer, after my ball swelled up. And after he said it's most likely a bacterial infection. And he was kind of confused, this is, it's not painful. The swelling is peculiar. Most likely a bacterial infection. And I made the mistake of celebrating. I was talking to a couple of my friends, and I was like, hey, I'm stressed out about this. Moment I got out of the hospital, I'm like, I get to keep my ball. It's just an infection. Nothing wrong. And over the following days, I basically got put on bed rest. I still was considering going to do a couple of tours. I asked the doctor at some point, I'm like, hey, so can I drink while I'm on these antibiotics? And the guy just looks at me and he's like,
oh, you already have kids?
And I'm like, no. And he's like,
well, yeah, then don't drink, stay in bed, complete bed rest, otherwise you might lose function in this testicle.
Basically, don't be a fucking idiot. I was like, okay. And, they're like, okay, fine, I'll take off some of these September shifts, but, I'll be fine in a week, right? And I wasn't. The antibiotics didn't have any sort of effect. And I ended up going back to the hospital, the following Tuesday. And I get a different doc. And he's like, yeah, these antibiotics aren't doing anything. The swelling that you have, he was doing the sonogram again. So yeah, no, this is not an infection. If it was an infection, there would be this, and this. This is currently not present. It doesn't hurt. That's not a good sign. We're gonna give you different antibiotics to see, if something changes. But if not, come in on Friday on an empty stomach because we might have to take the ball. And that's when my 3 days of fucking terror starts. Because I already made peace with it not being a big deal. And I mean, I did see that nothing was really changing, but I was still hopeful that antibiotics just take a while to kick in. And yeah, those were rough days. During those 3 days, I kept on trying to stay positive, but 3 days is a really long time, especially after they use the word tumor and the word likely. And yeah, I just wasn't in a good place. I had trouble sleeping, trouble eating, and like rationally, I was like, whatever happens. They also took some blood tests while I was there for the second visit. And yeah, I kept optimistic. I was like, hey, they're gonna find out that there's no cancer markings in a blood test, that this is all going to work out. Because, I had a firmly held belief that cancer is something that happens to other people and not me. Which I'm sure that I'm the only person in the world who has this belief deep inside of them. But yeah, so I was going through a pretty rough time. And it's also like difficult to tell people about it because you don't know. Like, you don't know if something is actually happening. You don't want to have to randomly end up talking to somebody about your balls when there isn't a medical emergency where it's, like, bacterial infection or like something. But yeah, I was feeling really low. And this like fun clean mind thing happened with dip and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, I want to make an update video on that. I want to encourage my audience to, help spread my work. I want to let people know that there's new stuff on the Patreon. And then I was like, I also guess want to get out this health problem out of my system. And I did. And getting that video out was so immensely helpful. And even as vague as I was, this was still something that was weighing on me really heavily. And all of a sudden, seeing all this love and support come through was really nice. You're all internet strangers, or at least most of y'all. Turns out a lot of my friends and family found out that I'm having a health problem through YouTube, which feels mighty silly, but also, yeah, welcome to the internet. And we might be internet strangers, but I legitimately was in a bad spot, and seeing that there's people who care out there was really, really nice. And the comments kept on coming through even during this medical day that I'll speak about shortly. But yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. This is about as far as my genuine thanks can get right now. Because we haven't crossed the river yet, but we'll get to that in a second. I do want to point out something really bizarre, and that is when a video does really well on YouTube, you get like these little fireworks that basically let you know that this is the sort of content you should be making. And the video did do really well. It did really well by like factors of other videos that I have made. And there's a really weird, surreal part to going through this medical emergency, going through just the general dread of unknowing of what the next couple of weeks, months of your life are gonna look like. And then having, like sharing this vulnerable moment with your audience, and then YouTube being like,
Whoa, this is really good. Make more content like this.
so that was definitely strange. But yeah, I think that video was made on Wednesday. Thursday, I just kind of head down, power through, and then Friday morning, I wake up to go to the hospital. Now I'm not a vlogger. I have very little interest in being a vlogger. At least like where I walk around with a camera in public and all that sort of stuff is just definitely not my jam. I don't want to think about my reality as content, at least not in the moment that I'm experiencing my reality. But because I was optimistic, and because I thought that I would show up at the doctor's and they would say,
Hey, you're fine. There's the blood tests were great. You're gonna live 100 years. There's no problems. Keep your ball. It'll deflate on its own. Just take another week of bed rest.
it's like that's what I was expecting, and I was hoping that I could make like a really positive video with good news. There was a part of me being like, hey, you know what's gonna be cool? Like if I kind of vlog parts of this process. So yeah, I make a little video when I get up. All right, Friday morning. I have not slept a lot. I'm not feeling great. But time to go to the doc and figure out where I'm at. When I go to the hospital, I sit in the waiting room. I go to the doctor and puts me, again on the table, and he sonos my balls. And then he's like, yeah, so the antibiotics haven't been helping whatsoever. Situation seems to be getting worse. Did you eat or drink anything? And I haven't eaten anything since midnight. Because even though I was optimistic, I was like, well, fuck, I'm not gonna, not listen to my doctor's orders. And I'm like, no, I ate a banana at around midnight. My stomach is empty, and it's like, all right, good. We can do this surgery today or tomorrow. We'll keep you overnight. You'll be like ready to go home basically within 24-ish hours of the surgery, even less. When would you prefer? And I was like, ow, sorry, stitches still hurt.
Gosh darn it, I hope this would end up differently.
But I was like, hey, if you gotta eat a frog, do it first thing in the morning. And I was like, okay, let's do it today. And he's like, all right. We're gonna send you to a cryosperm place, just on off chance that it is cancer that could have spread in case you go into chemotherapy in the near future, and that might mess with your fertility. So we're gonna send you to a place where they will freeze your sperm, just so I can reproduce later on if I so decide. And yeah, my experience at the cryptosperm just sounds like a Bitcoin. Cryosperm. Maybe that's not even the name. But my entire experience at the cryosperm place is a fucking video on its own. What a surreal place to go to. I'll keep it limited to just like 2 weird things that happened. Or weird observations. If you would be interested in getting a story of how the cryosperm place is, tell me down in the comments below. The sign. So I had to go to like a reproductive health wing of the hospital. And y'all, the sign on the door for like, I think it says like genetic material or something like that. The smiley face that they have for the fucking like doctor thing, you're not ready for it. Anywho, here's the door, here's the smiley face. I'm like, all right, cool. The lady there, she's like in her late 50s, early 60s. She has like the vibes of a librarian, not a sexy one, like a librarian who's going to like retire soon. And I guess in a way she is a sort of a librarian, but like she's like, okay, we answer questions and all that sort of stuff. And then she's like, all right, well, I'm gonna take you to the room, the fucking goon cave, the masturbatorium, and I regret not like documenting this better. I will have to go back in about a week or two, just so I can get more samples. I will take more pictures, but for now, let me just please use your imagination. It is like a tiled room. There's a television, and there's like this lime green like couch, but like a single person couch with like tissues draped over the ass section. And she's like, yeah, here's a TV if you need to use the TV. I did not need to use the TV, but once everything was done, I'm like, ooh, I want to know more about like what they have on this television. First thing, the remote for this television was in a motherfucking plastic bag. And there were two videos. I only checked out like the first 18 seconds of video number 1. And it cuts to the action real quick. Like I made a little video while I was there. Really romantic. Which I obviously can't post on YouTube because it is very visual pornography. It's like the most workman's 90s porn that you can possibly imagine, and it just keeps on cutting. Like it goes from like different actors, different stuff. It's some sort. I think it's a trailer. I only watched like 30 seconds of it before I was like,
yeah, dude, today's not the day to be hanging around like masturbatoriums and like seeing what they have on tap.
But very workmanlike, just micro shots of P and V, wild stuff. But I'm okay. Gotta make my way over to go into surgery. So I abandoned that. There is a part of me that is very disappointed that I didn't check what the second video was. I mean, like, that's a creepypasta story on its own, right? Like, there's something weird with the second video. I will check. I will report if this is information that you're curious about. But yeah, so I go back to the doctor. They all right, you gotta sign all these waivers. We're gonna take you to surgery now. And I was like, oh fuck, I don't get to like go grab my laptop from home, or like a phone charger would be nice. But alas, they're like, look, like this needs to get sorted out like right now. There's still like a spot open on the docket. So yeah, let's do it. And they again, this can be a whole video on its own. I've met many peculiar characters on this little journey through the hospital. I am taken into my little prep room, or like staying room. It's where I ended up recuperating. There is another man in there. He's, I don't know, like in his mid-40s. And like, it's a super stressful time. When I enter, I presume that he's the surgeon, because I mean, in retrospect, he was wearing like, the hospital gown. He had these weird socks on, which I think they do something to like make sure the blood stays in, something to do with blood circulations pre-surgery, I think. And when I enter, he's just kind of standing there. I'm like,
oh, hi, this is my name. This is what I'm in for.
And then it takes me like a solid 2 minutes of talking to this man, being like, oh, this is not the guy who's going to be operating on me. This is just like another person at the hospital. But he was super nice. We were chatting about all sorts of stuff. He came in for, I think like he had issue passing a kidney stone. And I was like, yeah, I'm really, really nervous about, because he had a surgery before and didn't work out. And I feel like my problems kind of calmed him down. Because I was like, hey, at least you get to keep all of your equipment. And But yeah, he goes into surgery first, and then I'm just kind of left in this room. While I was left in this room, I ended up filming another quick update video.
Wish there was better news, but there ain't. I'm gonna lose ball.
You can really tell where my mood is at. And yeah, it was a couple of hours of waiting. It was I think they brought me in at noon, and I don't think I had my surgery until 6 or 7. But yeah, big hospital. All of the surgery rooms were filled, aside from the long wait, which whatever. Yeah, everybody was really really nice. The nurses laughed at all of my. I'll tell you what jokes I made after the surgery. But yeah, so I'm just in this room waiting, and there was something in the back of my head that kept on being like, maybe somebody will pop in and be like,
Stop!
we found the cure, or like, oh no, we got the wrong blood results. He's actually fine. Like that moment where like the romantic interest runs through airports and like yells at the security check. That did not happen. And I was just lying there, stressed out. I haven't eaten anything since midnight. I drank teeny sips of water in the first half of the day, but then we're like, yeah, you can't drink any more water. They had me on an IV to get me hydrated. And yeah, just this miserable time of unknowing and trying to prepare yourself, but then you prepare yourself and then it's an hour later and nothing is happening. And yeah, getting new comments on the YouTube video, having friends and family stumble upon that video and hit me up. I was really stressed out, but surrounded by a lot of love and care, and that made that waiting experience so much better. I find it difficult to imagine how I would have gone through all of that. I mean, like I would have gotten through, but it was a lot easier with support, constant support coming through as everything was leading up to the moment. But yeah, then the moment comes. They wheel me out, and as they're wheeling me out into surgery, I'm like, whoo, this is scary. And I had a brief talk with one of the doctors before, and she was like, yeah, I don't like your blood pressure. Like, you need to calm down.
And I was like, yeah, well, I'm fucking trying.
And to calm myself down, because these things truly do come full circle, I was like, good morning, and welcome to another episode of Clean Mind, your daily janitorial mindfulness session. And yeah, I clean minded myself as they were like rolling me around. It's like, move that mop back and forth. And yeah, get on the operating room, anesthesiologist introduced themselves to me. Everybody was so friendly, which is super rare, by the way. The Czechs, we are not known for our friendliness. When somebody asks you, how are you doing? The response here is meant to be,
why the fuck are you asking what do you want?
So everybody was super friendly. At some points, like, they already have me hooked up to an IV. I'm already on the operating room. Like, it's about to happen. And I was nervous that they would only knock me out partially, that I would be like awake for all of this. So I was asking the lady, like, hey, so you're gonna put like a gas mask on me and I'll fall asleep, right? And she's like, no, we only do that to children. And I mean, I'm like, oh fuck. And I'm like, well, I'm young at heart. And she laughs. She's like, look, we have an IV in you, and like it's going to knock you out. You won't even have time to like count sheep. Just take deep breaths and And it was such a bizarre experience. The closest thing that I can compare it to, and there was a part of me that's like, still a writer, still gonna try to capture, whatever is happening here so I can use it in the story later. It is the equivalent of like having a really boring conversation with somebody that you like don't want to listen to. You're listening to somebody, you start daydreaming, zoning out, and then all of a sudden you're brought back and you're still, exactly where you were an hour ago, but it's an hour later, and you're really jolly. Like, I remember very little of like being rolled back into the room. But yeah, I was in a great mood, all things considered. I tried making an update video, and I asked, which, by the way, you're in a hospital room with a 48-year-old man, and I'm like, hey bud, I'm a YouTuber. I'm gonna record an update video, just let you know. And he's like, yeah, sure, go ahead. And I record this update video for like 3 minutes where I kind of fill you guys in on what I've been throughout the day. But turns out I was so fucking high I forgot to press the record button.
Alright. Ano, do prdele. Já jsem mluvil na tu kameru a teďka jsem to až začal nahrávat. Alright, so I just did a little speech to the camera, and turns out I am a lot higher than I thought I was. Just got out of surgery, or I don't know, I just got out of surgery like 20 minutes ago. I'm still on the, drugs. I am down a ball. My right testicle is presumably no longer with us, or it is with us, but it's being tested for cancerous growths and all that sort of stuff. But I'm doing all right. I'm mainly doing all right because I'm high. But hopefully I'll be doing all right in about 30 minutes when the drugs wear off. So yeah, this is my little update. Thank you so much for all the support. I posted the update video about 2 days ago, a bit less than 2 days ago, about a day ago. And it's been so nice reading all of your comments and kind wishes from complete entrenched strangers as I was going through this very difficult and long day. So thank you. And I'll see y'all soon in a more sober fashion. And hopefully with more good news. Not that this news is particularly good. I had a ball in the morning. I no longer do. But alas, such is life. Guys, again, thank you so much. Hope everybody is safe, sane, and healthy out there.
So, just very quickly on the note of the surgery, they went in through my abdomen, which is also why it is, this recovery period has been difficult for me to like sit up or laugh, which is, like if you're post-surgery, you're going for a rough time, you still don't know like what the future holds. You could use a laugh. I'm better now. I can like do a giggle, but if somebody gives me a gut laugh, like it hurts. So don't you dare put any jokes in the comment section. Anyway, so I start off my mending process. And in the morning, I'm like, I can't get out of this bed anytime soon. But with a bit of push, I really wanted to go back home. Like, I would prefer to recuperate over here with, like real good human food, and joints. So yeah, I think I left the hospital at around noon, walked like a motherfucking penguin. I had a good buddy of mine pick me up, Chris.
There is no ghost here. You gotta leave before I call the police.
And he picked me up in his car, so I didn't have to like ride public transport or worry too much about just getting myself back home. We went to McDonald's, grabbed some McDonald's over there. He got me a bottle of Jack, which I still haven't opened. I would like to open it if there's any good news in the future. Or I might open it when I'm just feeling like having a drink, which currently I'm good. But thank you so much, Chris. But yeah, so that was the first day of me coming back. The following day, my parents come back from Slovakia with Era, and yeah, they've been taking care of me over the past couple of days. Today is the first day when I was able to like go outside to throw out the trash, and I am planning on coming back to work. It is Wednesday right now. I'm coming back to, or I'm planning on coming back to work on Thursday next week. And I should be getting my stitches taken out on Friday. They will do more blood tests then. And yeah, figure out if there's any other tumors kicking around. A quick note on my ball. As I mentioned before, it's been taken out through my abdomen. And yeah, it's not something that I feel particularly weird about. It's like losing a kidney. So my left ball will take over all the hormonal functions of the other one. There shouldn't be any decreases in anything. I will still sound, fuck, and act the same, which is all I really care about. And yeah, you know, I do mourn this part of myself that has been with me through many formative times. But sometimes it's just time to let things go. So if you can pour one out for my right testicle, always in our hearts. So yeah, this brings us to now. So, skinny of the situation is, I most likely had a tumor in my right testicle. It was deemed by my doctors important to remove it. I am getting my stitches taken out on Friday. They will do more blood tests then, and we will find out if there's any other tumors kicking around, and there's going to be more detailed news on stuff in, I believe, early October. So, yeah, definitely not the good news video that I thought, or that I hoped I would be making last time I was on camera. But, you know, that's life, right? I am ready for whatever comes next. I am surrounded by love and care, both in my flesh and bone world and you guys. Again, I deeply appreciate all of the words of love and support and just the general good vibes. I'm ready. I really like it here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm a fighter. And I'm prepared to face whatever comes next. I like to be optimistic, but also because I had that brief moment of celebration a couple days into the crisis and having to rescind all of my excitement about being okay definitely messed me up for a couple of days, and I want to make sure I don't make that mistake again. But yeah, pray for sunshine, build dikes, hoping for the best, ready for the worst. We're gonna make this work. So yeah, that is the tale of of my unfun day at the hospital. Again, guys, thank you so much for all of the support. If me talking on camera is something you would like to see more on the channel, it's something that's been really helpful to me over the past 2 weeks. So I'd be happy to make more videos like this. Hopefully about other subjects that are not like cancer or my balls. But I mean, eventually this will all get collated into stories. I've definitely met a very colorful cast of characters as I had my unfun day at the hospital. If you want to hear more about them, fucking screech in the comments. But hey guys, that's me. I'm doing okay. Like, it is what it is. I don't see any points in despair. I don't see any points in anything other than keeping my chin up, because yeah, I really like the life that I've built for myself, and I am going to keep on living it. Please don't give me pity. I have no interest in pity. I am not a charity case. All I want is good vibes. So send those good vibes, and hopefully next time I see you, I'll have the same good mood, and hopefully better news. Again, guys, thank you so much. I hope everybody is safe, sane, and healthy out there. See you guys somewhere down the line.